5 ways to have better sex after menopause. I'm Dr. Jen, double-boarded OBGYN and integrative medicine, Eastern and Western medicine put together, and I'm also a specialist in menopause and sexual health. So let's talk about the 5 ways to really have better sex after menopause. A lot of women come to me and say, my sex drive has just tanked. I don't enjoy it anymore. In fact, I feel like it's kind of a chore, like I have to check the box. And most of those women want to have better sex. They want to have the sex that they had 10 years before, and they want to really improve it. So let's talk about ways that you can have better sex. Well, I do want to say one thing about sex drive. So hypoactive sexual desire disorder, or lack of sex drive or arousal, desire, that has occurred for over 6 months is something that can be treated medically. So if you feel like you really have had no interest in sex for the last 6 months and it's really interrupting and disrupting your life, please seek a healthcare professional because there's so many things that we can do. But let's get back to 5 ways to have better sex after menopause. Number 1 is lubrication. Lubrication. So when you were in your 20s, you had these fantastic circulating estrogen and testosterone, and it was so high and it was so great that lubrication was not an issue. And the vaginal tissues were easily able to make fluids to help with lubrication. When you age, when you go through perimenopause and menopause, that ability to do that has declined because estrogen has declined. In fact, there are actually estrogen and androgen receptors in the vagina. And so you really have a lack of ability to make the same lubrication as you can. And so without lubrication, it's painful. It's hard to want to have sex when it just is dry. It feels like sandpaper, it feels like burning. All those things can occur for lack of lubrication. So lubrication is important. Now there are different lubrications. There are things that are actually moisturizing and they're actual lubricants. So make sure that you're looking at the difference between them. So a lubricant is very different than a vaginal moisturizer. So lubrication, it could be water-based or silicone-based, but make sure you find one that works for you. So lubrication is number 1. 2, pelvic pain. If you're having pelvic pain, if it's not feeling good, if you have pain either at the beginning of sex, during sex, or at certain positions, you need a good exam to figure out what is going on. Is it a lack of lubrication? Is it the tissue has become pale and thin and very fragile, and therefore any sort of friction is painful? Some women develop vulvodynia, or they have pain at the vulva, so even touching is uncomfortable. So making sure you get a good exam is important because there are ways to treat that, and so that will disrupt your ability to want to have sex, because if it's not desirable, if it's not rewarding, why do it? Number 3, address what is normal. So a lot of women will come to me and say, my husband is on Viagra and he wants to have sex 3 times a week. But I just don't want to have sex 3 times a week. I think that's too much. We used to, when we were having sex 10 years ago, would be once a week. So to me, that seems reasonable. So I think you need to have a good conversation with your partner about what is normal. And everybody's normal can be different. My definition of normal can be very different than yours. So it's important to have this conversation about what is normal for both of you. What can you meet in the middle to try to figure out what is appropriate for both of you to feel like you're getting your needs met. And it can even be scheduling. And I have patients who schedule it. They're like, Sunday is our day. It's our fun day. And it works for both parties because they feel as though both of their needs are being met and both of people are being heard. So a conversation about what's normal is important and what would work for you and your partner as far as the amount, maybe, not just the frequency, but the type of sex that you have. Maybe it's switching it up. Maybe it's more foreplay than actual intercourse. So that kind of conversation will really, really improve your sex life if you guys are both on the same page. 4, desire. So when we go through perimenopause and menopause, we start having issues with desire. So sex drive is this internal feeling like I want to have sex. I'm interested in it. It sort of naturally happens. And desire can be a little bit complicated in women because some of it can also play into the willingness to have sex. And so desire, if you find that you have low desire or low arousal, there are medications specifically for that. So 2 of them on the market, FDA-approved medications. One is called Addyi, It's an oral medication you can take every single day to improve, it's non-hormonal, to improve your desire and arousal. 2, Vyleesi is a medication. It's actually a shot that you give. It is not taken every single day. It is taken on the day that you want to have sex. And both of those are FDA approved for hypoactive sexual desire disorder or lack of desire and arousal for the last 6 months. But there are also compounded options, and I love using these in patients. In fact, there are patients who don't use those other medications because they either can't get approved through their insurance or find them too expensive. And so some of the compounding medications that I use is one called Scream Cream. It's actually a cream you put on the clitoris that helps improve blood flow to the clitoris, therefore improving desire. The other is Oxytocin, which is used as a troche. It's a little dissolvable medication that you use 15 to 20 minutes before you want to have sex. Also, it actually works at the brain because oxytocin is a hormone that's secreted from our brain to remind us of the reward, the connection that happens with your partner and how pleasurable that can be, therefore improving sex drive and arousal. And there are several other medications. In fact, there are even herbal options like maca. There are several other options. So you need to really, if you truly want to do it from a pharmacological standpoint, and I'll make some videos on those too, then I would definitely talk to a provider who is well-versed in menopause care and ones that also are well-versed in herbals and compounding and all of those things, because it's not just the 2 FDA-approved medications, there are several. So making sure you see a provider who is well-versed in all of those. And number 5, the last way that you can improve your sex after menopause is foreplay. So the vulva, the lower third of the vagina and the vulva have a lot of nerve endings. They're more sensitive than the deeper part of the vagina. And so women often who are going through perimenopause and menopause, not only do they have the lack of desire, but they may have lubrication issues. They may have some changes that have happened to their body and so therefore feel maybe a little bit less sexy. And so foreplay can be a fantastic way to improve lubrication, but also to take advantage of the fact that there's all those wonderful nerve endings that can be stimulated that could help with desire and arousal. Foreplay in whatever form that is, that could be with just frankly touching, it could be talking dirty, it could be using sex toys. There are a lot of different options, but thinking about making sure that's part of your sex life is important, especially as we age. So those are the 5 ways you can really improve your sex life after menopause. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section of this video, or you want a video specifically about those things, let me know. I'm happy to make more videos specific to you. And please like and subscribe and share this with your friends.